Welcome to Real Flix Reviews, like a book club for people who hate reading. This week's our theater picks. We picked the movie Deadpool, made in 2016. We bring you movie news, and this week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, and Ryan Preston.
Hello.
And so this week we did the movie that everybody here has been waiting for at least a decade or more. Here's the description. A former Special Forces operative turned mercenary is subjected to a rogue experiment, leaves him with accelerated healing powers, adopting the alter ego Deadpool. I didn't really think that was adopting an alter ego. I thought that was just him.
Yeah,
for the most part, yeah.
And
I gotta say, I do wonder about leaving the stove on randomly as well.
yeah,
I do that a lot.
yeah. Especially when rolling a car.
The first thing I want to say, though, is when I saw this, there was like a 6 or 8 year old in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And it left me wondering, some guy who thought, hey, look, it's a Marvel movie. It should be good for my kid. It should be entertaining for my kid. That's right, with a rated R rating. And the name Deadpool.
I didn't see anything wrong with it. Was there something wrong with the movie?
It would be if you were 6. Like all the sex.
I mean, I'm sure James, the 6-year-old, really liked it.
Yeah. I don't have a 6-year-old, but whatever. 6-year-old James liked it.
It's James Jr.
I didn't have an issue with the movie, and I totally always thought Deadpool was a hero.
I had an issue. Yeah. I have an issue just because the way it is. I definitely not a kid movie. Just because, especially how violent it was.
Well, yeah, of course not. Of course not.
Come on, I mean, it wasn't that violent.
I mean, it was like playful violent.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I mean, as long as you're making a joke, it's not violent.
Right.
I mean, if you're laughing, it's obviously not hurting that much, so whatever. It's good. It's fine.
So,
yeah.
But I never knew that Ryan and Deadpool had something in common. Did you know that you guys had something in common?
A gimpy hand.
I wasn't aware of this.
Clown porn.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you both like clown porn.
I mean, dabbled. I wouldn't go so far as to say liked. I
well, you prefer midget clown porn.
Things,
Yeah. As long as it's a little bit.
You have one without the other.
As long as it's a little clown porn, you're fine.
Yeah.
He just likes his porn a little funny. This movie, in all honesty, to me, this was like the perfect superhero movie, honestly. Yeah. It's because you have... It's really hard to describe Deadpool, honestly, if you're not a fan of the character.
There was one thing in this entire movie that bothered me. Just one. And it was, how did he get the rebar out of his chest?
The rebar?
Yeah, the guy stabbed him in the chest with rebar and pinned him to the floor, bent the rebar, and then the entire lab caught on fire. He wakes up in the middle of the fire without any rebar in his chest.
It melted.
That fire was not that hot.
That was the excuse.
I don't think it was going to melt that rebar, but at least it might have got it to a forging temperature, if you will.
It annealed it enough that it softened.
So while he was passed out, it slowly slipped out of his chest.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he passed. I think he just kind of like sulked for a while. I'm not sure he was really passed out. But at the same time, he could have just sort of worked himself up and then sort of kind of turned his body. It's not like he bent it into a D.
I don't know. That was about the only thing in this movie that bothered me.
I honestly, that didn't bother me. I say the best thing about this movie was all the crap he said about himself.
Yeah. Well, for the uninitiated, Deadpool is the only comic book character who knows that he's a comic book character, and uses that knowledge to his benefit in things such as actually reading ahead of somebody else's comic book to get an idea of what he's up against in his own comic book. It's the most meta thing that's ever been written.
You'll see him pull out a comic book and go,
Yeah, that was actually, I was really wondering how they were going to do stuff like that, where he randomly pulls like a weapon that's like 10 times his size out somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was a little disappointed that they didn't incorporate that into this film, but it would be a little bit
I
hard
think
to
those
do
are
it.
the kinds of things we can look forward to in number 2.
Yeah.
If,
Yeah,
if,
but since this is an
if-
origin story,
if they do make a number 2, though,
They will. They've
that is
really, that is really interesting.
that is the best pause in a while. Repeat that, Ryan.
I said, yeah, they fast tracked it pretty quick.
That's
Yeah.
badass. This movie is one of those movies you've got to watch at least a couple of times to catch all the references in it.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Well, right from the credits sequence, man. I mean, that set the tone perfectly.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, really, really perfectly. So,
I didn't know the little X-Men teenage chick. Did you guys ever know of her?
I've never heard of.
never recognized her.
yeah,
the only thing-
Colossal I recognized.
The only thing I could think of is maybe it's a newer X-Men, and I'll be honest, I haven't actually stayed up to date on the X-Men.
Well, and when it comes to X-Men, I mean, my knowledge might be about 60%.
yeah. Well, I mean, our knowledge goes back to 90s X-Men, really.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, the only really new X-Men then was Jubilee.
Right,
So-
but even then, I mean, all of the ancillary ones, I mean, there was quite a few.
Yeah.
Quite a few that were under sort of that umbrella, you know? And then not to mention characters like Deadpool, who started out in X-Men comics and then branched off into his own thing.
I'm looking at IMDb to try to find some of the funny references, and there's a few
I mean,
things.
there's almost too many to count.
Yeah, this is actually pretty big. Like one of them, let's see. Let's see. Deadpool mentioned that he looks like he was bitten by a radioactive Shar-Pei in one of the issues of the comics.
I like that.
Deadpool states that he looks like a cross between Ryan Reynolds and a Shar-Pei.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he made fun of himself a couple of times, like himself being Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, my favorite
Basically,
one.
Deadpool making fun of the guy playing him in the movie. I mean, come on, man.
My favorite one was, "Don't give me a super suit. Please don't make it animated."
Oh, dude. I mean, seriously, those.
That was actually. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like. I don't know. I mean, it's almost hard to explain how good of a time this movie was. The second it was over, my girlfriend turns to me and says, "We're coming back to see this again. We're gonna get the soundtrack and we're gonna get the DVD so we can watch the commentary shit."
Good job. Good call.
Yeah.
You can say something over there. Or not.
Cricket.
She's shaking her head at you.
It's like
Worth
no,
a try. Whatever.
fail.
But I mean, but really, like that was a reaction I wasn't sure going in if I was gonna get at the end of that, and not saying my girlfriend is the be all end all when it comes to the to movies or us having even the same taste, but
Are you saying
it
her
lined
movie
up so
picks
perfectly
her crap?
for couples. I mean, they really did make a cute Valentine's Day movie.
I do say that this movie is kind of like as inside baseball as a comic book movie can be. I mean, this is solely a comic book movie for fans of comic books.
Right,
Because-
but at the same time, you don't have to be incredibly initiated to enjoy it, I don't think.
Oh no,
Yeah, I don't think
that's
so
what I
either.
think is the benefit of it. Is it helps knowing who Deadpool is and his quirks, but the way they make it, you don't need it.
Right, exactly. I mean, my girlfriend didn't know dick about Deadpool going into this thing, and I mean, she had the same look on her face after watching Guardians of the Galaxy.
I gotta say, for a pick of Ryan Reynolds, I think they did a fantastic job
Oh,
of casting
could have
Deadpool.
been better.
And I mean, I have to say, I'm actually impressed by the amount of effort he put into working out, because Deadpool was always a ripped character.
Sure,
They
yeah.
actually said that they had to remove the muscle layer in the suit because he couldn't fit in it, because he was so ripped for it. So I think that speaks quite a bit of volumes of Ryan Reynolds and his dedication to the role of this one.
So
I mean, yeah, I think he recognized it was something he was just born to play.
so so the few questions, like, what did you think of the year-long sex scene?
Oh, it was perfect. I mean, first of all, Morena Baccarin, one of the sexiest women of all time,
Yeah,
and two, incredibly funny.
yeah,
Like shocks you how funny she is. Like really, really, really good timing with her delivery. I mean, it's one of the first times you've seen her do comedies aside from, like Firefly, but that it was a lot more dry humor. And this, I mean, her banter, the chemistry that these two had was freaking perfect.
Yeah.
That
yeah,
was
I agree. She is one of the hottest women in Hollywood.
That was one of the moments where I kind of did, fanboying. Like, oh my God, she's finally in something else.
She did V after Firefly.
Right, and she's been in Homeland for a while, but I mean, that's a real serious situation.
Yeah, but
both of those, V and Homeland, are pretty serious for her
But
roles.
I think this fits more along with the lines of Firefly, but it's not as dry, for humor-wise.
Yeah.
Right.
And
she doesn't have to play the straight or just, kind of slyly making fun of Mal, or whatever. I mean, this was I mean, I had no idea that she was that kind of thing was her speed, but like she's perfect for that kind of role.
Yeah, I thought she nailed this role perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think
I think everybody did. I think they had such a perfect vision going into this. I mean, even down to Colossus and the way that they interacted, and this guy who doesn't know he's a comic book character, and is sort of representing the traditional style X-Men, and Deadpool, who's just completely like outside of the situation, like making fun of it, and his interaction with the teenager was freaking hilarious.
Oh, the Nega.
I mean,
how Nega song it, Teenage Warhead, or however you say that name.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, so it's either going to be a mean comment or a long sullen silence. So what's it going to be? And she's like, kind of got me a box here. Oh, damn, it was so fun.
Or the other part, they pull up to they pull up to the Xavier's house, and well, that's an awfully big house and only 2 people. It's like we couldn't afford anybody else.
Yeah. Oh man.
And I love
the comedy in it is obviously too much to go through.
Yeah, I like the fact that he made a really dirty jab at Professor X for having a bunch of teenagers.
Yeah, right. And I love that he made the meta connection of James McAvoy or Stewart. When they said, let's go see Xavier, he's like, which one, McAvoy or Stewart?
And Colossus through this whole movie, I love that was pretty much the beginning of the movie when he chopped his hand off, and Colossus is looking like,
and it's flipping him off.
Yeah. Well, okay, James, correct me if I'm wrong. That's almost to a T comic book and animated show Colossus, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the one that they put in the original movie was like the teenage version of him.
Oh yeah.
He didn't have an accent.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same. They kind of nailed it on this one.
Yeah, the first Colossus they did was just absolutely horrible. Like you're like thinking like that is not Colossus.
well,
Yeah.
honestly, I thought the first X-Men movie was more or less like the Colossus character, and some of the other ones were just kind of throwaway nods to the comic books.
Exactly.
So
and it's you could have nodded a little bit harder.
Because I think even Jubilee's in the first one. It's just all just kind of a useless ancillary throwaway character.
You mean
Yeah.
the first one where they didn't have all the characters, or the second one?
What first or second
Because
one?
X2 is the one where they had the kids.
Or first or second one, Jubilee's actually in a scene in it really
She's
quick.
in X2. Anyway, sorry.
Honestly, the movies the 1 through 3 are so bad they kind of blend into one big Howard the Duck moment. Honestly.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. The only good redeeming thing was Wolverine, and even Wolverine wasn't that great.
Wolverine was better in the second one, but
yeah.
The most interesting thing about this movie is the talk on the sequel, because I heard somewhere they were going to bring Cable.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And seeing Cable versus Deadpool to me just all the hijinks.
Oh yeah. Well, which Cable are they going to bring? Because there's the serious Cable, and then there's kind of like I don't give a crap Cable.
I'm hoping the serious Cable.
That would be funny.
Because that would be awesome. So
yeah, you need a straight man.
Yeah.
So
somebody for him to kind of bounce that kind of shit off the Laurel to his Hardy, if you will.
Yeah.
Or the Abbott to his Costello.
Right. Yeah.
So do you have any favorite like gags? Like my favorite cheese. One of my favorite moments is the scene where he went to that crack house with that black woman and said, "Would you please get out of here? His hand's gonna feel, his hand had that little." He said the
You mean the little hand in there, and this is going to feel huge with this hand?
Yes,
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite gags in the movie. Just because the look the blind lady gave. It's kind of like, ew.
I have to actually kind of go along the lines with you. It wouldn't be one scene with the blind lady, but it would be like there's a multitude of scenes with the blind lady. And I have a question for you guys. Why does a blind lady have a concealed carry?
Why does a blind lady have so many guns?
Just throwing that out there. Anyways, but I like to think of like, what did he say to her that there was that he hid a brick of cocaine right next to the cure for blindness. Good luck finding it, and walked away. I'm like, dude, that's great.
And there's
Ryan's still laughing at that one.
So I read that Ryan Reynolds said there's at least 100 Easter eggs and pulp culture reference in this movie, and
Oh yeah,
that was the one thing I heard critics complain about this movie. Oh, you've got too many pulp culture references that won't
pop
be
culture references.
what she said. That won't be any good in the next 10 years.
Who cares?
And it's all sort of, I mean, there's pop culture references in all the books that sort of go on after a while, or at least some of them.
Yeah, I would say,
But,
if you hold on, I want to bring this point up since John brought it up. This is not a Mel Brooks film. But when I'm bringing up Mel Brooks because Mel Brooks in all of his films puts pop culture little jokes in each and every one of them. Like Robin Hood Men in Tights is the most prominent one of that one. Excuse me while I pump these up, and pumps up his sneakers.
The Air 90s.
There was so many 90s jokes in there. And then when you go to like Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein, there's jokes in there for each generation that are sticking to that generation, even with the History of the World Part 1. It's in there too.
Every Mel Brooks movie, basically.
Part 2 was the better one.
Yeah. Just a little
I mean, you could basically
that.
tell when these movies were made based on the kinds of jokes that were in them. I mean, Tell me Spaceballs in the most 80s movie ever.
Yeah.
The benefit, though, of those movies is I still think Mel Brooks had the ability to be able to have...
Bridge the gap.
Yeah, like future generations will laugh at that. I don't know if this movie is like just 2016. This is the movie that's going to be lost in time in the future, or not.
The scene that you just brought up. You think
What?
20 years from now somebody's not going to laugh on a little midget hand? This is going to feel huge.
Okay, see, yeah, that's the thing is a lot of the actual pop culture, the now zeitgeist kind of pop culture references are really quick, really throwaway, or in the background. So it's nothing that's like that the plot is dependent on. It's nothing that, I mean...
Wait, hold on. There's a plot in this movie?
Yeah, there's a big plot.
There's a big plot?
Yeah. Deadpool origin story. What the hell?
Not to mention he's got a feeling that he can get his face back, and so, he obviously can't, but...
So that's pretty much
you
the whole...
You don't know that. They never told you that.
They didn't.
Shut up.
So I guess a little bit on the plot before we get switching.
Okay. I thought you were going to leave it up for Ryan to pick his favorite part of the movie.
Oh, yeah. Ryan, what was your favorite part of the movie?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't know shit.
Favorite
there's so many parts. A lot of the exchanges with him and TJ Miller, he was the bartender.
Yeah.
That was a great choice for the bartender. But I don't know, man. There's too many to count.
Because I'm actually with Ryan. I'd actually have to sit down and watch this 3 or 4 times to figure out which one I liked. For me, and I don't believe I'm giving this to a comic book movie. This movie's a 5 out of 5. This is to me. Maybe it's because I like Deadpool, but this is the perfect movie that stays true to the origin in the comic book, but is able to make it so everybody can find it interesting and not so much inside baseball. So 5 out of 5.
There's been only maybe two other movies that I've ever thought about just going right back into the theater to watch it again, and this is one of them. So this is, as John said, a 5 out of 5. Like I would have started watching this right again, just because, like you guys said, there's so many things you miss.
Yeah.
And you know you miss them.
Yeah, they could have had a revolving
that.
door on the theater.
Yeah,
and I would have just swung right back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you couldn't have done a Deadpool movie any better than this,
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't have done it. Of course, it's fine.
So I was going to say, though, apparently on the Deadpool list was in that bar.
Yeah, I didn't get a good enough look at it.
According to a list I found, like Bill Cosby's name's on it,
Jeez.
Lindsay Lohan's list. So when I buy this movie, that's the one thing I'm gonna like blow up when I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of moments of me pausing and looking in the background and zooming in and shit. Yeah.
So this week's TV was The Man from High Castle?
The Man in High Castle.
Man in High Castle, and this is
an Amazon film.
And this is kind of pretty much it's not a new idea for a movie, or TV series. Pretty much what it is it's alternate history if the United States had lost.
Yeah.
And at least by
Lost
the first
what?
World War
II.
II.
Somebody didn't watch
you
somebody
say
watched
that like
the TV
people
show.
would know.
Oh, true.
Did you watch it, Ryan?
No, so talk to me like
I told you.
Ryan?
He'll be back once he watches it.
So, well, this isn't an old plot. This is not an old plot device. This is one of the better ones that I've seen. At least by the pilot, I'm actually impressed by the story that they've started. Now, I don't know if it was enough to get me hooked on it, but by the initial episode, I'm actually really impressed.
You know, I like the detail that they put into it. As he's traveling down the road and his tire blows out, the cop comes up and helps him with that, and then offers him the sandwich, and then all of a sudden there's like ash falling out of the sky, and he asks the guy, "What's going on here?" And he's like, "Well, they're burning the elderly and the cripples." Because that was something that, the Nazis did, and that was the day that they decided to do it, was when he's there. It's like, wow, they really kept that in. It was the cripples, the elderly, and the dregs of the state.
And that was really well done. I mean, that was a nod they didn't necessarily have to do.
Well, I like the fact that they also split it down perfectly, the way that Japan and Nazi Germany had planned on splitting the United States up.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of interesting things that are in this that they incorporated into the story and the culture that the people are living in. So, anyways, but
I also like the stark contrast in the Japanese and with the Nazis, the way they showed them. Like there's one scene where they're in San Francisco, which is owned by the Japanese, and they had like the Nazi consulate, and you could see it was very Nazi-esque.
Yeah.
If you ever look at pictures of like Hitler's private areas and some of the bigger grandiose looking rooms.
Yeah.
And then you had the Japanese who it didn't really mate feng shui or what it was talking about. I really like the contrast, the two they showed.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting the way that they did that. So I enjoyed this one. I've actually watched the first season. I'll probably
So how did you like the rest of it? I mean, what did you think?
I thought the way that they introduced everything and what I believe they're going to turn season 2 into, I was actually very intrigued, because the way that they did it is kind of the way that you would expect it to be after I think it was like 20 years after the war.
So they didn't jump the gun like you thought they did, like Gotham did, by just introducing everybody in like the first 3 episodes.
They didn't throw like name bait at all. The only real name bait that they ever threw in was Goebbels, and Hitler was on his way of getting to the point of dying, and they eventually bring you into meeting the Man in High Castle towards the end of it, so the end of the first season. But yeah, I thought it was really well done. I liked the way that they kind of had people in moral quandaries through the season, so it's good. It's one I think Ryan would enjoy as well, if he ever watches any of the TV shows.
I mean, it sounds interesting, and it sounds like one of those shows that you want what you expect from it.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone's kind of thought about it. You know, I think, you know, especially anybody who's ever watched any World War II documentaries or anything like that, it's been some kind of a mind exercise for a lot of people to sit there and be like, what would it have been like had we lost that? And you would expect certain things, and you want to see those sort of things played out in this kind of thing. Same thing, like you brought up Gotham. Like, I sort of know what happened in the beginning, and I know what happened at the end. Now we just want to see the middle filled out. This is sort of the same thing. Like, I just kind of want to see kind of how it plays out, and how one thing leads to another, and what people end up accepting, and things of that nature.
I think,
but unlike what Gotham did, which Gotham, it was like every episode you had like 3 more characters that were named.
Yeah.
Right.
They really started machine gunning, you know, just shotgun blasting characters into that show.
This one they didn't do that. They really introduce you to the no-name characters that they want you to know as part of the
because at a certain point, it's not a war anymore. It becomes an administration.
Exactly.
And
so you want, I mean, it's basically like the actual politics of Nazism being played out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The fascist Nazi and
the Third Reich, you know, in the beginning of its first 1,000 years, if you will.
Yeah.
I will say the one thing I think I liked about this TV series, the atmosphere, the ambiance, everything they showed in this was like, wow.
Yeah.
They
put a lot of money into the sets and the designs and the areas that they brought you into.
Oh, yeah, and there were a couple of people that I haven't seen in a long time, like DJ Qualls. I haven't seen him.
It's because you don't watch Supernatural. Really? Yep. He's in Supernatural.
And the other one was...
he's Garth, is what he's...
And you didn't watch a legit Jim Jeffries.
There you go.
And the other one I haven't seen in a while, and I'm really going to screw this name. How do you say this? I haven't seen this guy in forever.
Oh, Hiroyuka Tagawa.
He's a famous actor, and I guarantee you've seen him before.
I messed up his middle part.
He was in Mortal Kombat, Planet of the Apes. He's actually a really famous actor, but I have not seen him in a long time in anything.
He's mostly in. It's not Japanese. Is it Chinese films?
It probably
sounds
Japanese.
pretty Japanese to me.
He's from Tokyo.
Okay, yeah, I had to actually look at this thing, but yeah, he's in some of the Japanese films. Anyway, but so I enjoyed this one. I actually busted through it. I think it's worth the watch. It was one of those that I knew about for quite a while that I'm like, I want to see this, and I was really bummed that it was Amazon only, but what do you expect? Netflix does it.
Yep.
Well, I mean, Amazon, man. I mean, they're trying to get themselves into contention, you know, with everybody else doing sort of original content.
Yeah, I think with this one they scored. So
just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a Facebook page. You love us, hate us, we'll read you on air as long as you're creative. Well, you know, we'll make fun of you and ridicule you, but something better than we suck. You know.
So on to movie news, and I gotta give a slow clap. Leo, you did it. Thank you. Finally, shut the hell up. We don't give a crap. You got an Oscar. Keep your global warming propaganda to yourself.
Okay. And with that said, was to say, do you have something to add to that, Ryan, before I continue?
Yeah, I do. Without getting into anything political whatsoever, it really did seem to be the night to save the world. Like, I mean, do we really need to save the world in one night, guys? You know, like I understand everyone's kind of got some things, but you know, shit. Thank your agent and get the shit off stage.
Yeah.
So with that being said, there is some movie news.
No, I mean, you're not going to jump on the bandwagon and say good job, Leo. Yeah, I mean, John is like the biggest Leonardo DiCaprio fan.
I mean, yeah, seriously, good job. I mean, it is. He's had a couple of Oscar-worthy performances, but as we all know, awards are bullshit. And it's really just the respect amongst his peers that I think, you know, that he's thereafter after a certain point, because it's really arbitrary. I mean, it's a bunch of 80-year-olds that are voting for these kinds of things. So
I'm happy that Mr. Congeniality finally got an award. Honestly, I think The Revenant deserved it more than probably any movie he's ever done personally. But, with that being said, I kind of like the fact he kept being Mr. Congeniality because, well, I don't really give a shit about award shows.
I wouldn't have put money on him this year, honestly.
And so,
I would have put money on the bear, and I think that joke's been made about 1,000 times.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, that's kind of he's had a couple of amazing years in movies, especially the last 5-6 years. And so it is nice to see it before he does the lifetime achievement bullshit when he's 70.
So that being said, we're
good movies a guy got to be in.
That being said, we're going to move on to some movie news. And
That was movie news. That's movie
I've got ones that, well, I don't know, are a little more important. Well, probably not. But
wow.
Yeah.
Not talking about a bunch of glad-handing yes men who circle jerk award shows about how, oh, my movie was better than the other one. Come on, they're.
What, you mean like Quentin throwing a fit over December?
Yeah, pretty much. One being, in all honesty, I actually have no idea where they're doing this. Disney is mounting a prequel story for the classic adventure novel 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
But you just want to know how that...
Okay, look, I'm good with that. I never read the actual book, but I remember the movie from like the 60s. I think it was like Kirk Douglas when he was wicked young. But what's it called? That movie was amazing, and there was a lot of things in there about Nemo that they sort of alluded to, and that he said, he had been a slave of this island people and whatever, and I mean, there's some backstory there that I'd love to see.
Well, here's my problem with it, is it's gonna look like it's like a Technicolor rainbow. It's gonna be all CGI, no practical effects. In a movie, the original was all practical effects. If they can match the look and the feel of the original back, when it was made, that I'm totally cool with it. Otherwise, leave it alone.
For the record, I mean, it was Disney that made it back then. I mean, if there's any place that's going to be, maybe a little precious about how they did it back then, it's going to be them. And I mean, they got the money to do it however they need to.
True, I guess.
So it would be nice to see it, practical effects, because it's not a complicated thing to have some sets and a submarine with some foam rubber around it.
Right? I mean, the movie's almost like 12 Angry Men. There's 4 sets? I mean, come on.
I mean, well, and presumably this might be sort of leading up to him building the Nautilus. You know what I mean? And so it could just be a lot of, young Nemo sort of as this pre-captain slave on this island or whatnot. And
the other one I have is Predator 4 has a release date, and in all honesty, I actually don't care about another Predator movie or another Aliens movie. So, what do you guys think?
I'm really with you, Matt. I don't care. I mean, you can't capture that lightning in a bottle like seeing the Predator for the first time. You know what I mean? And that's, if you can't do that, then what the hell is the point?
And according to this, the Predator, Shane Black, has insisted that the 4th film will not be a reboot. Rather, it'll be a brand new story. So pretty much it's a reboot, but without the origin story.
No, so this is going to be like, what, Predator 6?
Something like that. So pretty much what this is
well,
like...
I'm counting Predator versus Alien, so...
Oh, yeah. So pretty much like it's like when they tried to reboot The Punisher, but instead of doing another origin story, they just made a new story. So it's...
Well, you really can't beat the Dolphster on it, right?
Oh. And I like that movie, but I just seriously, I think they just need to step away from Predator. They need to step away from Aliens. I mean, even 2001, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, I'm actually a little bit more okay with than another Predator movie, personally.
I don't know.
And then the other one, I'm kind of surprised this is Pacific Rim 2 has found its director.
They're still doing that?
That surprised me, especially the fact that Guillermo del Toro is not directing it.
Did they pick a Japanese director this time? They might do some good with that.
I don't think so. The problems I have with the first one are still going to be the same damn problems I have with the shitty new one. Why in the shit would you make a robot? That has like fighting fists. How much more efficient killing machine that I in design other than a stupid thing with fists.
But this was mecha anime come to life, though.
This was pretty much as close you can get to being anime and live action at the same time.
Yeah, this is mecha anime.
Excuse me,
that's
without
really what it is.
without it being Speed Racer.
Well, I think Speed Racer was spot on and really well done. I enjoy Speed Racer.
So
I mean, the Wachowskis actually did a good job with that one.
I gotta admit, I actually liked Pacific Rim 2 after watching it like half a dozen times. It kind of grows on you like gangrene.
Wow.
No, that's called Stockholm Syndrome, John.
So I had,
Seriously.
You will be locked in this chair and you will watch this until you like it.
it's a small world.
No, it's a Clockwork Orange.
So next week is
Johnny's
Every
pick.
time he hears like the soundtrack.
Twitch. Next week is we're gonna do Grab Bag, and I decided to pick a comedy.
John, you know a comedy?
Wow. I wonder
But-
what serious movie this is going to be.
But
Schindler's List.
Yeah, seriously.
ooh, so many jokes.
But my bums work, damn it.
What are we considering a comedy today, John?
so many jokes, but nothing I could say without getting us removed from YouTube.
I'm working on it. Come on.
Yeah, so
I'm
step
pretty
back.
sure unless we pull our dicks out, we're not getting removed from YouTube.
So step in the Wayback Machine. About the era where the Andrews sisters were alive, we're doing Abbott and Costello's "Hold That Ghost."
Okay. Good luck finding that, audience.
Yes.
Yeah. Good luck. Try Kmart. It's probably buried at the bottom of the bin.
Kmart, go to a secondhand store.
It's about the only way you're going to be able to find it, but I promise it is out there. You just have to look hard enough.
Actually, you might be able to find that kind of thing on YouTube.
Or an estate sale where the lady was over 90.
So, but
What?
like your dad's age.
Yeah, right there with yours.
Yeah, have fun dusting off that Betamax, folks.
Betamax. It'll be on the old reel-to-reel projector.
Right?
45 millimeter and all.
Exactly. Like I said, it's a comedy, but I never did particularly say the age of the comedy. So, ladies and gentlemen, I gave Deadpool a 5 out of 5. James gave it a 5 out of 5. Ryan gave it a 5 out of 5. And next week, well, we're doing a movie that I happen to like, Hold That Ghost with Abbott and Costello. They're upset. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, see you next week.
I don't mind a black and white. Goodbye.
Thank you.